Hey patrons, this is a update video, and it's so interesting listening to something else while I talk. But with limited time, I have to I have to multitask, and it's easier to do this since it's just really basically an update, and it's not like a podcast session where I need to, you know, think of my thoughts and stuff like that. Anyway, so so this is page 11. As you can see, I need to let me make a. Uh, sorry guys, I need to make. I want to make a new layer. Let me call this edit. This way I can draw over the whole entire page freely. So so let's see. Why can't I find? Okay, there we go. All right, so here, page 11. Did I do all that just to highlight page 11? Hopefully not. So, this is page 11, and I'm gonna pick and it'll all make sense. I promise. Okay. And this is page 8. So, I'm sure as you can see, there's lots, there's a lot more shading, just a lot more heavier inks, and the reason behind that, I wish I could do like a dual panel, and I'm sure, well, I shouldn't say I'm sure. There could be a way to do that, but right now I can't. And as you can see here, the more shadows I have, the shadows within the actual color frame, more like color shadows and not ink black shadows. And I'm not necessarily going to go away from that. It's just I the whole graphic part of graphic novels, comic scripts, just that inking and shading is really a part of that, and so it just adds volume and a certain level of presence to the page, and and if I were to eliminate the colors, which I'm not gonna do because I don't want this video to be, because it's not an exposition on shading or inking. It's just on me evolving and growing as a comic artist. And so, and I always knew, adding, shading and inking, just adds again. I keep coming back to volume, but it just really rounds out the page and the panel itself, where it's not a lot of just negative space or empty space, as we like to say in the artist world type thing, And so, because you can imagine this panel, if I didn't add in these shading and inking spots, it wouldn't, it wouldn't pop from the page. And so, inking is not really my strongest asset. Really, it's penciling. And so so it goes like penciling, then coloring, then inking. And so many times I'll say to myself, I'll fix it when I color it. And so, and it shouldn't be that way. The pencils should be clean enough where they can start on their own. The inks, just the same. And then obviously, coloring should be that as well. And even the lettering as well. And, everything should be able to stand on its own and complement the entire page, the entire panel itself. And so let me, I think that's, I'll just delete this, and then that way I don't have to worry about it. And let me save. So yeah, so as you can see, it's different, and going forth, purpose to implement more, just more shadows and inks, just heavier inks to make the page pop more, whether it's the character like this or the background as such. Because nothing's wrong with this, but if there was some shading, let me do something real quick. Let me just open. So let's just say if this was so just imagine if this was just all black, right? And of course this is going to be fairly rough. Okay, so that's all black. You can already see the difference of how having just strong inks will oftentimes help the page pop even that much more. And so right there and then, you see that. So that difference. This is probably not the greatest because it's rushed, but you can see where it just adds a level of depth and volume again. And so let's get rid of that. So that's why I'm thinking about just adding a little bit more inks, and just being brave with it. And particularly, it's digital, so if I go overboard, I could always correct that, and that's really another reason why, I want to get into it even more, because then that way, you know, unlike traditional, when you lay down ink, that way you can always correct it by whiteout, but you want to commit, and it requires a strong commitment. So all of that to say, there's just not enough time, and there are a lot of stories that I want to tell and I want to share, and there's just realistically, just I just don't have the time. 24 hours is not enough. Working full time, 2 kids. Yeah, it's just not enough, and so wanting to maintain family life, just personal endeavors, and this, and so my style will most likely change as well. And by that I mean, let me just pick something that I can. And by that I mean these are not incredibly tight lines, but they're not rough either. And I'm not necessarily referencing like composition because there's a lot of work that I still need to do with composition and stuff like that. But I just mean like line work. So my line work will become a little bit more loose. Uh, at least I'm gonna try because I am so stuck in my original frame of mine as far as my style and drawing and wanting it to look refined. But that just takes time, and time is something that I don't have. And so, and by loose, I don't mean just purposefully bad art, but loose and, hey, the line may be a little scribbly, or it may not have as much detail, and so, and then it'll just free me up too, because sometimes I get in my own way and I want something to look, because even like this page, I'm okay with it, um, but there's still things I'm like, this could have looked differently, his hand could have been done differently, or something could have been done a little bit more accurately, and then I get all hung up with anatomy, and it's like, okay, that's his shoulder, and it's, it's try where his biceps begin, and is it too long, and so I'm just trying to free myself from the technicality of drawing to just draw. And it's the same thing with golf. I truly love golfing, and I don't play it enough to be good at it. Um, but I have some fundamentals, and but anyway, getting to the point. When I get too technical with my golfing, it usually goes to the wayside. I usually get into my head, and then I start thinking of different swing mechanics, and it's not very free flowing, which usually happens when I am not thinking very mechanically, very technically, when I am just being very fluid and just freeing of my mind to just, hey, just hit the ball. and and I usually play better, or within those series of strokes it's usually better, because I'm only thinking of the things that I need to think about, how far, what club choice, that's it. I'm not thinking, oh, my backswing, my my follow through, my angle of approach, my angle of impact and trajectory and all that stuff. I'm not, and so I usually play better, or more consistent. And that's the same thing I want to get to my artwork for two reasons. Like I said, the common thread you're going to hear a lot is time, and just not having the time. I'm like, okay, I have to do something where I can create content, progress, and the overall project plan in producing a comic novel series in a timely fashion. And so, and that may change when I get to the point where I'm able to do it full time. And who knows? The new style, I may just keep that because it's so more freeing and expressive. And so, I don't want to. I think this is gonna be too long, and I don't want to be long. Just wanted to be a brief little update. So yeah, so this is Love Summer, and I'm still working on it. I am currently working on the struggle as well, and so so again, just character model design. I'm actually jumping ahead because this would have been something that I would have made in another video, like behind the scenes type thing. But since it is an update, just want to share an update. So this is the final character model I've decided upon, and then from here, I'm just drawing different expressions, angles of the face, and even see with this, I used to. I mean, I still do to some degree, like a character's background. But I mean, I used to create a a full bio history of the character. Blood type, their relationship, what got them here, and so now I'm having to just creatively weave that into the plot and storyline while I just make mental and maybe some bullet point notes for myself. But I used to just write all that stuff down, because it's a part of character development. You want to be able to uh, create a full rounded character, and so you want all that information that you can pick from, maybe drop some things, add some things, tweak some things to the character traits, personalities, and stuff like that. But now with just not much time, you know, I'm just going straightly, well, honestly, not straight to drawing, but abbreviating that process because again, time. And so like here was another design. See his hair is a little bit more pointy, a little bit more cartoony, but then with a more sort of realistic face structure. So I was just trying different, just different things for this character. As you can see, I make notes for myself, good but too cartoony. This is one I did that I really liked, and but as I started to write the script, uh, the development of the character didn't really fit this depiction, and I'm gonna use this face for a different character in the comic, and so even like here, this is from the early beginning. Um, at first, this is the picture of the main character. Of course, I made a note saying potential support character to Paul. Paul was the original name that I was thinking of, and I don't think I'm sticking with Paul. Uh, I think his name may still be Paul. I'm not sure, but this was like super early, and I think I've changed that. But like here, you see character bio, sex, male, age, ethnicity. All this is to just help me design the character as well. That way, I have a see even ethnicity, black plus Asian, Korean, or whatever, just a mix. And of course, me just looking, okay, how would I want to do his eyes? How would I, if he's mixed, just how with the the typical um, Eastern look blend with a more North American look, and so, but um, all that helps me develop the character as best as I can and as accurately as I can, and I'm not shooting from the hip, so to speak. But yeah, so you see here, I mean, so just different variations. This one I checked because it just stood out to me, and now I'm having to also when I'm sketching. I mean, it's recommended to just freely sketch multiple faces, just multiple compositions, and then see which one you stick with. I try to, in my mind, create what I'm really looking for, so that way that minimize that amount of production time. And so it should be where you just sketch as many as you can. I don't have the time for that. I try to think of exactly what I want, and then I sketch around those thoughts and ideas, and then I shoot from there. And even here, I still have variations, and but I just do a few and one that speaks out to me. I mean, I try not to settle. If I'm not feeling something, then I'm gonna draw again. But if I'm feeling it, like, man, I really like what the composition, what I like the features, then I go with that. It's just this one. I don't know why I wanted a, just a different feature, because I really liked what it, and that's why I know I'm gonna keep this this drawing and depiction, and make it, one of the main characters in the comic series, because I do like it, and so definitely want to add that. And so uh, of course, then hibernating to this, and then as I said, as I was drawing, and I was like, okay, well, I want a character to be older, but how much older? And then I kind of fluctuated with the age, as you can see from that previous page. I think I had him at 40, and then I went down to like 35 or 30, and so then that, of course, I just realistically matching the age with the depiction, and so yeah, and then went to here, and I said, man, I really like that, but I don't know if I like it for the story. I mean, these are all the same drawings, same angle. I just do this so that way I can compare like just different complexions, hair color, eye color, stuff like that. And that way I'm not having to redraw. I hover it down and I can go from there. And so I was like, I like that, but I don't know quite yet. And um, so came to this, and I was like, oh yeah, because I think I settled around like 25, 28 years old. Wanted the character to be of mixed race, and uh, and so yeah, and so here, so this is what I've decided to keep and to work with, and so yeah, so this is for the struggle, and just a little bit more background information. So just here, like judges concept. These are kind of like elders, council folks, who you know who provide like some well, I can read it here. Supremely high level beings. These are good judges and corrupt judges. They can be summoned based upon relationship level and connection. And that again, that's a concept of powers and their responsibilities. I'll flesh that out a little bit more, but because this is the struggle is gonna be supernatural comic, stuff like that. I know, again, another superhero type comic thing, but anyway, so all of that just to say, there's a lot of flashing out of aspects of a comic series. The protagonist, the antagonist, the theme, the setting, and and typically I try to break all that stuff down first, which you should, because lays the foundation of the work that you're going to do. What I end up having to do is make a lot of mental notes, some bullet point notation as well, but just to keep the process going, because it's a lot of work, and as much as I want to cut down the production time of that work, I still need to set up creative ways to maintain a certain level of production and creation time while maximizing creation of the actual product time. And so, and I don't know if that makes sense or not, but yeah. But anyway, so that's all I wanted to share in this update. Love Summer is still coming. It's semi on the back burner, and that I mean I work on it when I can. I'm trying to get the struggle going, because it's going to be a more fast pace, and I think I've said this in a previous video. My whole thought behind that is it's action based. Love Summer is drama based, and it's a part of a 4-part volume, and so that's scary, because I'm like, geez, will I even get? But anyway, that'll be another video for another time. But here's an update. I just want to let you guys know, and future patrons that come and support this initiative and this movement and this dream, to know where I'm headed, and the process that it takes to get there. And so thank you guys for all your support. Thanks for taking the time to listen and watch this video, and I appreciate all your support, and let's continue to see where we go from here. And so yeah, and before I leave, that's why I purpose to create a lot of the random shapes, janitorial services, Sneaky Sarah, and just the different content life, just so that there's content, because if I just go headlong in the development of the novels, I won't create any content, and that's like a desert. That's like death on the internet. And so I'm barely creating as much as I probably should, and so I still want to do that, so that way keep it relevant, and honestly keeping creative, it helps. It's like working out, and so yeah, so that's why you see that, but I'm still working behind the scenes. So thanks again, guys, and have a great day or afternoon or evening whenever you happen to watch this video.